totally agree, but I do have to say this. I live in the state of Maryland, and I have no idea what the rules are here in Maryland. I never homeschooled my children. For each individual state, is that the standard?
It should not be.
It shouldn't be, but I don't know.
Well, maybe it is the standard throughout the country. I don't know either. I have an idea.
But they should change it if it is.
Right. But I have an idea that there is some type of measure of a curriculum, at least in Maryland, but I don't know that for sure. And if we're wrong that there is not some type of standardization, yes, and there definitely should be. And besides the curriculum, then yes, inspections. You can't just leave people to their own devices.
It just sounds like they decided, okay, we're teaching our kids at home. They're not going to school because they might feed them. I mean, it's...
They might vaccinate them.
Oh, God forbid.
Don't get us started on that. I think it even goes deeper than that because hindsight's 20/20 and it's hard to say, but I just feel that so many people failed this family. As a neighbor, I would like to think that I'd be a little more observant. To see children playing at night in the dirt is just disturbing to me. Why wasn't somebody reporting there's just something strange going on here? That's just me.
He made the comment that the homeschool community does not want an inspection because of their privacy. I'm sorry, if it would stop abuse of one child, that's worth an inspection. I'm sorry. Your privacy is
What are you hiding?
Exactly.
That you need such privacy.
No, I'm sorry.
Think about it. You've got people that are opposed to people being searched to go on an airplane because they're afraid. And I'm like, if I need to get naked before I get on that plane
Knock
to
yourself
feel,
out, honey.
go
if you're
right
gonna
ahead.
Keep me safe, if it keeps one person from blowing up that plane, hey, do a rectal. I don't care.
You heard her. This is going to be a good episode.
I know.
When rectal gets brought into it, it's going to be a good episode.
But if you are trying to hide something, that's one thing. Okay, I have to have my privacy. But if you have nothing to hide, what the hell are you complaining about?
And why wouldn't you want your children to be educated in a standardized manner so they can be
successful
adults
in the world? Because these kids, it's been almost 2 years now since they were rescued. They still aren't out in the general public. They can't.
Well, we don't know that for a fact. That is another point I wanted to bring up, is that I really hope that people are respecting their privacy. This is a time in place in their lives where they do need their privacy.
Oh, definitely.
And hope people are respecting that. And I really was happy to hear that John was respecting that too, that he did the story. It's their lives or their lives now. I wish all those children the very best. I just can't even imagine the PTSD that they must suffer from.
It's going to take years. I would imagine any time they get into a situation where they can't get out of a room, it would send fear.
I would imagine it would be like taking one of these native communities in South America. There are a few left that don't have any contact with the civilized quote unquote world.
Dump them in the middle of the city.
I would imagine that would be what it would be like for these children, like a complete culture shock.
My mindset is I was raised in a loving home where my mother was boss, and she meant it when she said something or she tapped her foot. And when she tapped her foot, you either straightened up or ran. I just cannot imagine abusing a child. I mean, Tracy thought I abused her as I wouldn't let her do something. Actual abuse where you keep them from other people, you keep them
chained in their bedrooms.
I know.
Yeah.
What
and
if
not
they
fed or bathed for a year.
They only got to take one bath.
And their mother bathed them, even as adults. It's
just creepy. That's creepy.
Yeah, it's reading this. I mean, I knew the story, and if you have never heard of the Turpin family, I don't know where you've been, if you've lived under a rock, or for the most part, everybody's heard this story. John goes very deep. I learned things that I don't know if I necessarily wanted to know. I'm glad I did, because it's one of those things that you can't live in a bubble, and you need to know that there are some evil, evil people. And for those children, they had to suffer. Oh, I just still can't even wrap my head around it.
The sad thing is that they didn't even know that they were living any differently than anyone else.
Exactly, because that's all they knew.
And to look at those pictures of them in Disney World, it's just the creepiest thing, especially the boys with all the same haircut. It was like a cult.
It was, definitely. Well, there are plenty of pictures online of the parents. All the children's faces are blocked out, which they should be, because
absolutely,
those
totally
children
agree.
have to rebuild, or not rebuild, build a life in society. It would not be fair if everywhere they go, people are pointing, your name's Turpin. It's beyond words. This evil man and his evil wife.
I just can't understand why people would have children after children after children. There were 13 of them. If you don't want to treat them well, why keep having children? That just goes beyond my comprehension as well.
And the neighbors know there were 13 children in there.
And that was by design, that the parents would not take all of the children out at one time. On very few occasions they would, like they went to Disney World every year, which was odd, and they renewed their vows in Las Vegas several times.
And there's pictures of her in a wedding gown, 13 children.
She was extremely narcissistic. I mean,
Both of them are.
John Glatt has written over 20 true crime books, and he's covered just about every subject. He's written a book about J.C. Dugard.
He's written about the Cleveland girls. He mentions that in the interview. That's the one that sticks with him. That Castro person who kept those 3 girls locked in his house in Ohio. In the middle of a city, another case. Hello? What's going on at your next door neighbors?
Let's just put it this way. If it's a crime that's hit the headlines, John's pretty much covered it.
Yes.
And he does an excellent job. And as he said, his next topic is the Chris Watts case. And can't wait to see what he does with that.
Yes, we've had the book by Nick Vanderleek on our show. And it'll be interesting to see what John Glatt, the similarities or differences in the reporting on that case.
John has also written a few biographies, including The Royal House of Monaco. He's written about the Chieftains, Lost in Hollywood, about River Phoenix. So he's got quite a background in investigative journalism. He does a very good job writing.
And researching, obviously.
And researching,
yes, definitely. Like I say, this isn't a fun read by any means.
But I think it's an important one. I really do.
But it's infuriating that people do this to their children.
We are too much lost in our own little worlds to notice what might be going on in the house next door.
But just as a warning, the saying goes, if you see something, say something. These children could have been saved before this, a long time before this.
And if you turn in some poor neighbor who has done absolutely nothing wrong, nothing bad will happen to them.
That's right.
They might not like you anymore, though.
If they're innocent, they should, if they think about it, should realize there was some seed there that somebody had to check out. I would be grateful. Well, that ends our discussion of Mr. Glatt's book, and we hope you'll read it. It's an informative read.
Well, BoucherCon just happened. It was in Dallas, Texas this year, October 31st through November 3rd. And every year they have the Anthony Awards. And we would like to say congratulations to all the winners. And Kathy's going to tell you who they are.
The 2019 winners of the Anthony Awards are, for Best Novel, November Road by Lou Berney. Best First Novel, My Sister, the Serial Killer by, and I hope I don't butcher this name, Oyinkan Braithwaite. Best Paperback Original is Under a Dark Sky by Lori Rader Day. Best Short Story was The Grass Beneath My Feet by S.A. Cosby. And Best Critical Biographical is I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara. And we want to congratulate all of the winners, but a special shout out to 2 of the authors that we interviewed, who are Lou Berney for November Road and Michelle McNamara's collaborator on the book, I'll Be Gone in the Dark, who we interviewed, Paul Haynes. So a special thank you and congratulations and shout out to our buddies.
Be sure and visit our website at itwasadarkandstormybookclub.com. You can
listen to all of our episodes. We have links to just click on them and you can listen to every one of them. You can sign up for our newsletter. We send that out once a month. We're looking for short stories still for our newsletter in the coming year. We're going to have one short story a month. Email them to us and put short story submission in the subject line. What else, Tracy?
The next newsletter will be out in a few weeks, so definitely make sure that you're on the list to receive that. You can also become one of our patrons, and if you do become one of our patrons, we have lots of different incentives for that. You will definitely be one of the first people to know of any new episodes.
We will be eternally grateful for any and all donations.
Well, that brings us to the end of our episode. We thank you for listening. We hope you visit with us next time. And remember,
life would be boring without a little mystery. Bye.